Okay, so the t-test output is done correctly here and all of the calculations are correct. The problem is the test itself that's being run here it's not really helpful. We're testing is the average number of people who are depressed different from the average number of people who use drugs. It doesn't really show us any relationship between the two. It's also using numbers, so Philadelphia down here is going to dominate Philadelphia and Harrisburg or whatever the biggest counties are. The good news is we can do a very similar thing here. If we use the rates, first of all, that makes it so Philadelphia and the other super large counties don't dominate. When I copied here, it copied the formula, which is why this error is here. If I right click, paste special, values only, this will just get me the values here. For some reason it pasted it over and over. So what I'm going to do here is just delete all of that off. Hold down Shift, right click and delete. Okay, so we have these two columns. Now they are by rates, but we would still, if we ran a t-test on these, we'd still have the same issue. Is the rate of depression different than the average rate of drug use? And it's apples and oranges. It's a different thing. However, what we could do is let's make a new column. I'm going to insert one to the left. Let's categorize every county as either high drug use rate or low drug use rate. So maybe this is kind of arbitrary here, but let me look at the average drug use rate is 5.21. So I'm going to separate these counties into ones who have low drug use rate and who have high drug use rate. In fact, let me not add a column here. What I'm going to do right now is just sort based on drug use rate. So I'm going to highlight these two columns. I'm going to put a filter on. That way I can sort by drug use rate. And this will lump it'll put everything in order. If you notice, this is lowest all the way down to highest here. And so we said we're going to split around 5.21%. Let's just include all these here. So these are going to be our low drug use rate. We're going to call that a good thing, green. And then everything, all the counties with more than 5.21% using drugs, we're going to call those our high drug use counties. And if we wanted to see what counties those actually were, we could go back to week 3. But what we've done now is we've divided our data into two groups. We've divided the state of Pennsylvania into two groups. The ones here at the top are the counties with the lowest drug use rates, and the ones at the bottom are the ones with the highest drug use rates. And notice it's not exactly equal. There's more that are average or below average than there are up here, and that's just because of the way averages work. What's really going on here is there's a couple extremely high drug use counties. I'm kind of curious what those are. Let's see. Is that going to be Philadelphia? 7.2. Actually, let's just filter it. High to low. You can predict what you think they are going to be. Center County and Indiana County have extremely high drug use rates. So those are pulling the average up so high. That's why there's fewer here counties than there are in this group. But what an interesting question would be is the depression rate. I mean, it seems like there could be some ties between drug usage and depression. So the average depression rate for these counties, is it lower than the average depression rate in these counties where people are using drugs at a higher rate? Now that's a pretty interesting question, and that's one I think you could run a two-sample t-test. I'll give you a little hint. if you just use this data right here, now you're going to have to select the depression rate. This is going to be your first group right here, the depression percentages for the low drug use counties, and then these numbers right here is going to be your data for the second group. Those are the depression rates for the high drug use counties. When you say the output for the test, if you put it as cell D2, and you choose the same t-test, I think it will put it right over top of this output. And the really good thing is all of these formulas will update automatically. I'm not sure if you need to put D1 or D2. I'm not sure where the output starts, in this blank cell or this cell. If it doesn't do right the first time, just try it the other one. But the cool thing is you don't need to rewrite all these formulas if you put the output when you're filling out the. You know what? Let me just go ahead and give it a whirl here. So we're assuming unequal variances. Variable range 1 would be here. These are the low drug use. And there we go. 0. We don't have labels this time because when I selected the data, it was just the data. There was no label attached to that, so I'm not going to check labels. And here's where I'm not sure. The output range, if I want to try to just completely overwrite this but have all the formulas update, I'm going to try this D2 and click OK. Nice, nice. And these formulas then should all be correct already. Yep. So now it's just a matter of interpreting it. And here notice that we do have the averages are much closer together. Remember, this is this variable 1 here is the low drug use counties, and these are the high drug use counties. This would be the average depression rate for the low drug use, average depression rate for the high drug use. So we can see that there is a higher rate of depression for those counties. But what we want to see is in general are these low drug use rate counties, are they having less depression? And that's why we have to look down here and interpret all of this. Because we did set it up as, are they lower, do they have a lower depression rate? That directional word, lower, higher, more, less, more expensive, any directional word, that's a one-tailed test. So we are going to want to look right here and use this to interpret the output there.